Nearly 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man on earth woke up before sunrise, alone, in a cold tent on a military frontier, and instead of reaching for his phone or his schedule or his war plans, he argued with himself. He reminded himself, in writing, that today he would meet liars, backstabbers, and fools. And then he reminded himself why none of that was allowed to ruin his day. That man was Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and the most powerful Stoic philosopher in history. And the notes he wrote to himself in those 5 minutes each morning were never meant to be published. They were a private journal. Today, we call it Meditations, and it's one of the most read books on earth.
In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to break down exactly what he did every morning and how you can build the same 5-minute ritual starting tomorrow.
Quick context, because it matters. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire from 161 to 180 AD, arguably the most powerful position a human being could hold at the time.
He commanded armies. He controlled the wealth of a continent. He could have anyone in the empire executed with a word.
And yet, the private journal he kept, written mostly in military camps during brutal wars, isn't about conquest or glory. It's a man in his 40s and 50s, exhausted, grieving, sick, coaching himself through the same problems we all have. Annoying people, procrastination, fear of death, the temptation to feel sorry for yourself. That's what makes this morning routine so different from the productivity hack version you've seen 1,000 times. This isn't about optimizing your day. It's about steadying your mind before the day can knock you off balance.
Here's the line that opens Book 2 of Meditations, and it's the whole routine in miniature. He told himself that today he would run into meddling, ungrateful, dishonest, jealous people, and that this was completely expected because it's simply what happens when you share a world with other humans. Notice what he's not doing. He's not hoping for a peaceful day. He's not pretending people will be kind. He's doing the opposite. He's mentally rehearsing conflict before it happens, so that when it does happen, it isn't a surprise. It can't hijack him.
Modern psychology actually has a name for this. It's called negative visualization or defensive pessimism, and studies on stress inoculation show the same principle. People who mentally rehearse a stressful event beforehand handle the real thing with far less anxiety.
So, step 1 of the routine, in practice, before you check a single email or notification, spend 30 seconds asking yourself, who might frustrate me today, and how do I want to respond when they do?
The second move Marcus makes is almost a pep talk to himself. He reminds himself that he wasn't put on this earth to lie under a blanket and stay warm. He was made to work, the way a bee is made to make honey.
This sounds harsh in a world obsessed with rest, but that's not really his point. Stoicism isn't anti-rest, it's anti-drift. His worry wasn't laziness in the literal sense. It was the slow erosion of purpose that happens when you let a day just happen to you instead of choosing what it's for. So the second piece of the routine is a single question, asked out loud or written down. What is the one piece of work today that only I can do? The thing I was, in some sense, built for. This isn't a to-do list. It's a compass check, and it takes about 60 seconds. This is the part of Marcus's practice that tends to stop people in their tracks. He would deliberately shrink himself, imagining his own city, then his own life, then the entire empire from far above, the way you'd see the Earth from space. He used this trick constantly throughout meditations, zooming out until his problems, his enemies, even his own status as emperor looked as small as they actually were in the scope of time and the universe.
This is where the famous Memento Mori comes in. The reminder that death comes for everyone, emperor and slave alike, and that keeping this fact close doesn't make life morbid, it makes it urgent. And it makes ego a lot harder to sustain.
Hard to be furious about a rude email from 40,000 feet up. In practice, close your eyes for 1 minute and mentally zoom out. Your house, your city, your country, the planet, the galaxy. Then zoom back in. Whatever's stressing you tends to feel a little more like weather and a little less like fate. This is the load-bearing wall of the entire routine, and honestly, of all Stoic philosophy. Some things are up to you, and some things are not. Your opinions, your choices, your effort, your character, up to you. Other people's opinions, the economy, traffic, whether it rains, not up to you. Every morning, Marcus was essentially running his day through this filter in advance. Not how do I control the outcome, but which parts of today are actually mine to control, and which parts should I stop gripping so tightly?
The practical version? Name one thing today you're anxious about and ask, is this actually in my control? If yes, act. If no, let the grip loosen. Here's the whole routine, back to back, the way you could actually run it tomorrow morning before you touch your phone.
Minute 1. Rehearse difficulty. Who might frustrate me today? And how do I want to show up anyway?
Minute 2. Remember your purpose. What's the one piece of work only I can do today?
Minute 3. The view from above. Zoom all the way out, then back in. Minute 4. Sort control from non-control. Name what's yours to carry and what isn't. Minute 5. Write one sentence. Just one. Marcus filled entire notebooks, but you don't need to. One honest sentence about how you want to move through the day is enough to anchor it. 5 minutes. No app, no subscription, just a pen or your own head before the noise of the day gets to you first.
The reason this holds up after 2,000 years isn't mysticism, it's sequencing. Most people let the first input of their day be external, a notification, a headline, a message from someone else. Marcus made sure the first voice he heard each morning was his own, deliberately, before anyone else got to set the tone. That's really the whole secret, not the content of the ritual, the order of operations. Mind first, world second. If you try this tomorrow, you don't need the journal, the empire, or the war tent. You just need 5 minutes before the world gets a vote. If this helped, subscribe. I'm breaking down one piece of ancient philosophy every week and turning it into something you can actually use before 8 a.m. And let me know in the comments, which one of these 5 steps are you starting with tomorrow?